The Los Angeles Rams already learned this lesson the hard way, and Sean McVay is making sure it doesn't happen again. With the postseason on the line, one mistake could end everything, and this time, there are no second chances. Welcome to NFL SnapWire. Let's get into it. The Rams are preparing to open their playoff run against a familiar and dangerous opponent, the Carolina Panthers. On paper, this matchup looks simple. Los Angeles finished the regular season at 12-5, while Carolina barely sneaked into the playoffs at 8-9. But football isn't played on paper, and the Rams know that better than anyone. Back in Week 13, Carolina shocked Los Angeles with a 31-28 win, exposing cracks that Sean McVay refuses to let resurface. And when McVay spoke to reporters this week, his words weren't just about the Panthers, they were a clear warning to his own locker room. McVay didn't sugarcoat anything. "I think they've got a really solid team," McVay said. "We didn't take them lightly. But we played sloppy at times. Turned the ball over in ways that were uncharacteristic of us." That sentence says everything. The Rams didn't lose because they were outmatched. They lost because they handed the game away. And McVay knows it. In that Week 13 loss, the Rams committed multiple backbreaking turnovers. A pick six. An interception in the red zone. And finally, a devastating late-game fumble while trying to set up a game-tying field goal. Carolina didn't just capitalize, they punished every mistake. Time of possession told the story too. The Panthers held the ball for more than 10 extra minutes, keeping Matthew Stafford and the Rams' offense off the field and under constant pressure. Which brings us to the spotlight moment, Matthew Stafford. Stafford's stat line from that game wasn't terrible at first glance: 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a solid completion percentage. But the timing of his mistakes made them lethal. The first interception came late in the first quarter at Carolina's 8-yard line. Linebacker Derek Brown tipped the pass, safety Nick Scott hauled it in, and what should have been points for the Rams turned into a momentum swing. Then came the nightmare sequence. Just 2 plays later, Stafford threw another pass that found Panthers corner Mike Jackson, who returned it 48 yards for a touchdown. In a blink, a close game flipped on its head. And it wasn't over. Late in the fourth quarter, with the Rams driving and the pressure mounting, Stafford admitted he caused a delay of game penalty. On the very next play, Derek Brown crashed through the pocket, stripped Stafford, and ended the game. Carolina recovered, and the Rams walked off stunned. That loss lingered. Now, heading into the wildcard rematch, McVay is making it crystal clear, ball security isn't a suggestion, it's survival. "Just being more ball aware," McVay said. "Protecting it. Because a team like that will take advantage if you make bad mistakes." That's not coach speak. That's a warning. Stafford has owned his part in the collapse. And ahead of this playoff matchup, he didn't deflect responsibility, but he did point directly at what went wrong. "I'd like not to throw it to their team," Stafford said bluntly. That was the story of the game. Stafford explained that the Rams actually moved the ball well. They ran effectively. They finished drives at times. But turnovers erased everything. And he gave credit where it was due. "That's what their defense does," Stafford said. "They're opportunistic. Tips at the line, plays in the back end, stripping the ball, they've got playmakers." Since that Week 13 loss, the Rams have quietly fixed one of their biggest issues. Over the final stretch of the season, Los Angeles became one of the best teams in the league at protecting the football, even making history by finishing with 15 or fewer turnovers. That's the progress Stafford is banking on now. But here's the problem, the Panthers aren't the same team either. Carolina enters this playoff matchup healthier and more confident, especially on defense. 2-time Pro Bowl corner J.C. Horn is back, giving the Panthers a lockdown presence they didn't consistently have earlier in the season. Stafford knows it. And once again, his words carried weight. "They're playing really good football right now," Stafford said. "They've shut down some really good offenses. We'll have our work cut out for us." He's not exaggerating. Carolina finished the regular season 8th in the league in interceptions, 15th in scoring defense, and 16th overall. They thrive on forcing mistakes, and against a quarterback like Stafford, they'll take their chances. This playoff game comes down to one question. Can the Rams protect the football when it matters most? Sean McVay has made his stance clear. There's no room for sloppiness. No margin for error. No excuses. Matthew Stafford says this team is different now. But in the playoffs, words don't matter. Execution does. Because if the Rams repeat the same mistakes, the Panthers will happily end their season again. That's the storyline heading into this high-stakes wildcard showdown. Will the Rams prove they've learned from their mistakes, or will Carolina strike twice? For more playoff breakdowns, breaking NFL news, and game-changing storylines, make sure you're subscribed to NFL SnapWire. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.